Welcome to Monster Chats, presented by Monster VoIP, where we share the tools, methods, and best practices that business leaders use to build new connections, strengthen relationships, and impact sales in organizations of all shapes and sizes. If you have any questions that come up during today's episode, please text them to 424-378-6966. Please welcome the founder of Monster VoIP, your host, Colin Mitchell.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking with Nico Bruyn of Boundless Media. Nico and I are going to be talking about modern communication that encompasses your brand and how to market on social media platforms and everything in between. I'm Colin Mitchell, the host of Monster Chats and the founder of Monster VoIP. Nico is a marketer, author, and entrepreneur with a flair of leaving everyone he meets better off than he found them. He often touted as a guy who can sell anything. He even once sold empty Apple, iPhone, and MacBook boxes online. Currently, he's the CEO and founder of Boundless Media. Nico, welcome to Monster Chats.
Well, I've had a lot of great introductions, but goodness, that was a winner right there. I might just have to keep that forever. But
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, usually at this point, I say, tell us a little bit more about yourself. But before we go there, tell me about selling these empty boxes online. I want to know more about that.
Yeah, so I have a very interesting, I wouldn't say I fell into this industry, right? I didn't think I was going to be a marketer. Most people, when they grow up, don't think they're actually going to go into the marketing world. I've come to learn. So I was a failed medical student. Like I was convinced, I'm an immigrant from South Africa. So when you're an immigrant, it's doctor, lawyer, failure. So I was convinced I was going to become this great doctor. And as you can tell, that didn't work out. My grades looked more like the ABCs than anything else. And I had to make a really quick adjustment. So after listening to a ton of people, I learned that you can actually sell some weird things online. So I said,
including empty boxes.
And that's the thing. I was sitting in my dorm room and I was like, if I'm going to make this adjustment, right? If I'm going to go into business, I should probably try business out before I fully commit. I'm looking at my room, I'm looking and I can't find anything to sell, right? Besides my old MacBook Pro box, right? Nothing in it, just the original box. And I'm like, let's call BS on this. Let's see what these gurus are saying. So I take a picture, post it on eBay, and dude, I can't lie to you. Within 12 hours, that box had sold. After Googling how to put things in the mail, because again, I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I sold it and netted about $12.50. So called BS on it again, and did it with iPhone boxes and just, everyone has extra box, right? So I just asked all my friends and went to Whole Foods and they have a recycling bin. I just take all the boxes out there, see which ones were valuable, and I would sell them. And in a month I was grossing.
What are people doing with these boxes?
So it wasn't until I got in contact with one of the people I sold it to, because the first time I was like, you guys know these empty boxes? They're like, yeah, we're looking for good ones. And I hit up the guy and turns out they buy it for $10-15 a piece. And they put the hardware then inside of it. So it's more than, it looks more original. So for
refurbished equipment, right?
Absolutely. So they are able to get, from $10-15 invested, they're actually able to charge upwards of $50-60 on top of the price of the
just for having a box.
Yep. So it's an investment for them. So that's when I learned that in business and the world, you can actually make money by helping other people. And that's how I fell into marketing, and all started with selling boxes.
It's all about solving a problem.
Right? That's it.
So today we're going to discuss modern communication model, how to brand yourself, how to market on social media platforms, which are all areas that I know you have a wealth of knowledge in. So tell me, how are people especially with the current situation, what are some tips that you can give people on how to communicate and, what strategies they should be following, and what things they should be staying away from?
Yeah, it's interesting. So the biggest credibility I have is that I wrote a book called World Marketers. The fact is, so many people worry about the 20% of the quote unquote noise without investing into the 80% that actually lays the foundation of your brand. So many people are worrying about TikTok marketing and LinkedIn posts and direct messaging and all this stuff. but they do not have the foundations down. So my biggest thing, regardless of the situation going on with Corona or the world economy, most brands still don't have a solid foundation. So as soon as something like this happens, the whole house of cards comes crashing down. So what I'm telling brands, especially now, is this is a great time to reset and understand what your brand is actually about. Like, who you actually market. If you ask most businesses who they're marketing to, they have an idea, but they haven't fully fleshed it out. And you know as well as I do,
Yeah.
social is a context game, right? Everyone thinks it's a content game, but it's a context game. Like, I need to know the psychology behind my users that I'm marketing to. I need to know,
Right.
what content resonates with them. I need to know where their mental state is. What does my solution actually do for them? Most businesses are, and as most small businesses like we work with, they are like, we sell protein bars. So okay, everyone
Right.
sells protein bars. Why? Like, tell me that. After you ask why a couple of times, they don't know. So
Yeah.
social is a context game.
So it sounds like what you're saying is like not just knowing the psychology, knowing what makes them tick, what your buyer, deepening your understanding of the buyer persona so that you can create the context of the content.
We worked with a client before the whole Corona thing that had a CrossFit gym, right? And the very first interaction, the guy's like, I just love CrossFit, blah, 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 blah. And I pulled up his social media. I was like, I don't see the love for it. Like, you're giving me the stock images. There's no story here. And I'm like, why do you care about CrossFit? And he's like, you know what? I was 100 pounds overweight, and it wasn't until I found CrossFit where I felt, and he kept going with that story. I'm like, that's the story people want to know. They want to know the outcome that the CrossFit will give them. They don't really care. No one goes to a gym and says, you know what? They have Olympic-sized swimming pools. I'm going to sign up for that. They care about what's the outcome that solution will give them. They care about how they're going to feel afterwards they go to the gym. They don't care about the features. They care about the outcome. So for that client, that was number one we focused on. I'm like, you have the story. You just have to translate it online. And that's why I tell brands, you're 99% of the way there. It's that 1% that's holding you back. So once you break through that 1%, you're golden.
Right. So, and then tell me, because I know you're avid for, personal branding, right? So we talked a little bit about business, what they can do to kind of hit the mark, right? But tell me a little bit, how does your just average, sales rep or marketer that's inside of an organization start to brand themselves on social media?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've been using the personal reputation as the way I communicate personal branding, because regardless if you go to a networking event, we all know those networking events you go to, and you see that guy or girl, and they're going to go try and sell you something because they've done it in the past. That's their brand, right? That's their brand. Personal branding, especially online, is the same thing. Like, if someone slides into my DMs and I've already seen how they interact with people, I know that it's a sales pitch coming. Like, they don't really care about how my day is. They just want to go into like their pitch. So what salespeople and marketers can do is they can talk about the content or talk about the things they care about in the form of content, which is in a sense a 24-hour networking event. So when you go to a networking event, you and I go and we'll find, we get a drink, and then we strike up a conversation with someone. Then we have a couple of questions we go through before we even think about if we're the right person to offer a solution to them. Now, content enables you to do that on a personal level at scale. So for LinkedIn, my business is zero marketing through its personal pages, because I get 2 to 3 leads every single 3 or 4 days from people who want my services. Now, I'm not going to them and asking about it. They're seeing what I'm doing. They see how I interact with people at a networking event, right? And then they come ask me about it. The best networking events is when you're having a thoughtful conversation and some guy or some girl grabs someone else to bring them in, like, you need to meet this person. They can help you.
Right.
That's social media. That's LinkedIn. That's
it's such a great analogy. So, so basically what I hear you're saying is, when people start, getting on social media and putting content together, they really need to not be so salesy, right?
Yeah.
Because then if they've seen your content, as soon as you DM them, they're already putting up walls, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of content can they could be putting out there? What, everybody's talking about providing value and providing value. What does that look like? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I break it down into the 3 E's, right? So what you want to do is you want to entertain someone, you want to educate someone, and you want to engage with someone. If you hit those 3 specific ones, you're golden. So I'll take a couple of minutes and just tell you about it. So if you entertain someone, you get their attention. Now, going with the networking event example, you gotta have a smile on your face. You gotta be laughing, having fun, right? Otherwise, who wants to talk to someone boring? So how does that translate into content on LinkedIn? Talk about why you got into the business. Why did you decide to become a salesperson? Why real estate? Why finance? Right? Family. There's stories behind each and every one. The fact is, people might have really liked the story that I failed out of medical school and I became a marketer. Right? That instantly you feel credibility, but you feel more connected with me because I opened up. I tried to entertain you. I told you my truth.
Right.
Then I educate someone. Right. I never talk about what Boundless Media does because they can just go to my profile and see what it does. But I want to get them there. I have to build trust, though, that they should go there and see it. Right. So educate them. If you're in finance, marketing, whatever, what are the trends going on? How's Corona affecting them? What can someone do with $20? What's the top 10 books they should read? Right. What's the, there's a ton of industry experts. Diagnose what they're saying, make it tangible. There's stuff you and I can do each and every day to educate them, right? And that's where trust gets built. So we entertain them to get their attention. We educated them to build trust. And then we engage with them. They're going to comment on your content. Are you going to say thanks? Or are you going to thoughtfully engage with them? Their direct message, you're going to not respond to them? You have to engage it because you have to contextualize the messaging. So all content is it's the same thing as a networking event. Right now, you just get to do it at scale and in a sense behind the screen.
Yeah. I really like that analogy. Has LinkedIn or social media being a digital networking event.
That's all it is.
And the 3 E's, I mean, that's amazing, right? So first, entertain them, right? So that's like your personal story, share something personal about yourself, get their attention, right?
There's a sign right behind you that is fantastic that instantly caught my eye, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can cuss on your show, but it's stopping my track. It was entertaining. I saw that and it was like, there's a story behind why you put that up there.
Yeah.
That entertained me.
Right. So then you entertain them to catch their attention, right? And then you educate them, right? So whether that's, personal experiences, knowledge, expertise, industry, providing information that's going to help somebody maybe learn something, right? Which helps build your trust is what you said. And then the last one is engage. I think that's the hardest one for some people. Would you agree?
It's the least scalable one because it forces you to actually spend the 5 to 10 seconds thinking about the idea that you want to articulate to that person. It's very easy, and I'll give a kind of an exclusive tip. I haven't said this out loud, but the thing is about content is we've all gone on Amazon and read product reviews. You look at the 5 stars and you look at the 1 stars. No one really cares about the 3s or 4s or 2s, right?
Yeah.
I make purchasing decisions if I go on the 1-star reviews and I see that the company addressed why. Oh, we'll send you a new one. Okay, sorry that was defective. Sorry you didn't like the color. Can we help you? I like a company that does that more because I feel like they went out of their way to do it. Now, did that take more time? Did it take discipline to respond to each of them? Yes, but we live in a world where now in this networking event, it's not just you and I, it's everyone. Everyone can see the comments. There are people who purely watch my content and go to the comment section, right? And frankly, ask me the same question that I talked about. I don't get mad because again, they spent time out of their day, time they're never going to get back to ask this question.
Right.
Then here's a little hack. I answer it and then I copy it and I post the answer. Because if they have that same question and they didn't watch my video, perfect. They
So
want
then
a text
that's your
response.
new education piece for your
Yep.
next post.
Yep. Don't
Right.
recreate the wheel. I post 5 times a day on LinkedIn, 3 times on TikTok, every single day, right? And it's because I think of scale. I don't care that my audience, if you have 1,000 followers, most likely 5 to 10 are going to see your content on a regular basis, right? So why not take the video, add new captions to it, and post it again 3 weeks later?
Right. Right.
If it's valuable, who cares if you're posting it again?
Yeah. We're going to take a quick second to tell you about what we do here at Monster VoIP. What we do is we help companies save anywhere from 30 to 50% off their current business phone bill while providing more value and more features. If you'd like to learn more, you can text us at 424-378-6966. So, Nico, tell me, we talked a lot about how people can get started on, you told us about the 3 E's, right? So, that is give them a lot of context of like what type of content to put out there. But you also mentioned LinkedIn and TikTok. What platforms should people be using? And in those platforms, how does the content differ?
You should be using whatever platform your audience is on.
Right.
It's and I wish there was like a simple one. I always talk about pick 3 platforms and do 70-20-10. 70% of your effort on one, 20 on another, 10 on the last one. 70% on the platform that is currently driving the most traffic to your website, bringing the most leads. 20 on an emerging platform that you believe your audience is transitioning more into, that you have to give adequate time and they can take over the 70%. 10% on the platform that's a complete wild card. Can it become something? Maybe. But if you break that down, so for instance, if you're a small business owner, right, which most of your audience probably is, they work in early in a startup, whatever, they're in business. 70% of your time should be spent on LinkedIn. Here's the best part.
If you're selling a B2B service or something like that.
B2B or B2C. Well, here's the thing. We have over 560, almost 600 million people on this platform. And here's the best part. Less than 1% of them post each and every day.
Wow.
So the white space is, it's the best supply and demand curve ever. There's so much demand, 500, I think 350 weekly visitors out of the 550s. Like, it's crazy. And less than 1% of them are posting. So
and the rest are just scrolling, and
they're on these platforms. And that's the best part, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I can post 5 times a day, and out of my 7,000 followers, no one's going to see it. But frankly, like, I got 2 leads before we came on this call. So so that's where, if you're in business or even B2B or B2C, great platform to invest your time in. 70%, maybe not for some, for you guys especially. 20%, what's a platform that's working that can become that? For me, that's now where I'm spending my TikTok time. I think it's going to blow up. People like to say that LinkedIn might become Facebook. I think LinkedIn's still going to be more relevant to the business world. I think TikTok has the ambition to become an Instagram or Facebook, something more relaxed. Because when you're on LinkedIn, you're engaging with content that's a little bit more focused and more educational.
Yeah.
Right.
And people are talking more and more about TikTok, right? People are using it more for business, and the age bracket is getting wider, right?
Well, that's why I got serious about it. I'll be honest with your audience. About a week ago, I wasn't serious about it. And it wasn't until Saturday where I told myself, I'm going to start creating 3 pieces of content every single day. Because one doesn't work.
And you take care of that first E on every post, entertain them, catch their attention, And
entertainment could just be a smile. Like, it doesn't have to be a dance. And this is what held me back the longest on TikTok. I felt like I had to jump into the dance. Here's the thing. I didn't have to. Entertainment could literally be you smiling and then going into the topic that you wanted. It could be the song that's playing. So you and I can be talking, and I can have a song in the background. That could be entertaining. These aren't most of the time the posts kind of work with each other. They're not distinct. right? They kind of, one's a little bit more entertaining and educational. One might be a little bit more educational, and the other one might be educational and entertaining, right? So don't worry about the dance. Don't overthink the entertainment. Don't have to dance. I sometimes I dance, but I don't usually. And before I forget, the last 10% right now for me, it's frankly, I'm glad that you brought text messaging. Like there's text messaging out there. There's many other forms of communication that are much more personal. I want to drive people from social into those platforms that I have much more control over. So.
And people are really starting to catch. I mean, there's people that have been doing it for a long time, but people are really starting to take a look at the fact that, text open rates are 90%. You're never going to get that on email.
But here's the thing that people need to understand, though, is the way you can segment on text messaging is much more effective. But that means you have to put in a little bit more work. Because if you're breaking down your demographic, like I follow Gary Vee's text messaging platform.
Right.
Yesterday, he sent out a text literally talking about like, yo, Arizona, where I live, Phoenix, Arizona. I want you guys to stay safe. He had to go in and change, hey, California to hey, Arizona. And then add an emoji. Right? That takes work. It's not spamming. It took a little work. So
yeah. But I think that it's worth the extra work.
Well, if it's you, as you know, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But we're talking about small business owners. Like time is everything to these business owners, right? That's why they hire me and use your services. What I don't want people to understand or get away from is engagement doesn't mean spamming. If you go to a networking event,
right,
and the first thing you say is, do you know how my business can save you 10% or more? Like those type, like you feel it's too much, right? If you just keep doing that because it's effective, I'm cool with templates, but don't be blowing something up if you haven't got my attention. Build trust with me, and then engaged.
Right. So it all depends on where you're engaging as well and how you engage.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We're out of time for today's show. Nico, thanks again for your time and investment, and welcome to the Monster Chats family. Before we let you go, tell us a little bit more about your company, how people can find you, anything else that people should know about you, your brand, your company, and how they can find you.
Yeah, so I'm Nico Bruyn on every social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, gotta plug TikTok. And my company is Boundless Media. Listen, we help brands tell stories because we believe stories change the world. So we both white label our services, we consult, we brand. We're a nice shop, but regardless of that, I really want people to walk away with the fact is get your foundations right? If you have that, TikTok marketing and LinkedIn and texting gets so much easier. So get your foundations right. I'll plug my book. It's 99 cents on eBay, on Amazon. It's We're All Marketers, because I just want people to win. The truth is it's going to get more and more competitive each and every day. If you shy away from texting, like someone here, I shied away from TikTok for a long time and texting, and these platforms are only get more saturated. So don't wait, get started, and don't be afraid to fail. You're going to fail inevitably, so just get started.
Sometimes the failures are the best learning lessons.
Oh,
right? We talked about that before we got on.
You're on it.
We learn from our mistakes, right?
Yep.
But don't learn if we don't get started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right. Well, if you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe, review, and share. We're listening, and we welcome your feedback. After all, this show is for you. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Monster Chats, presented by Monster VoIP, where we share the tools, methods, and best practices that business leaders use to build new connections, strengthen relationships, and impact sales in organizations of all shapes and sizes. If you have any questions from today's show and want to reach us directly, please text your question to 424-378-6966.